How we doing, everyone? And welcome back to the Health Bar. I hope everyone has had a great week. And if you don't know who we are and what we do, my name is Love Mitt. Knows me as Mitt normally, and we are the Health Bar, which is a mental health within gaming podcast. So I kind of wanted to do the podcast to obviously talk about mental health and obviously gaming and how it's helped me, but also as well, I know that gaming can be the other way and can actually be the cause of people's mental health. So I kind of wanted to showcase all of that and above on the podcast. And this is kind of where we are today. I always start with my own mental health for the week. My own mental health for this week has been pretty good. It's been a very busy week. This is actually the third podcast I've actually recorded this week, which has been crazy, but it's been brilliant because it means that people are wanting to get involved and talk to people and open up and want their stories to be heard so it can help other people, which for me is amazing. It's like the best thing ever. So yeah, it's been a busy week, but it's been a very, very, very positive week for me, which is great. We go into mental health news. We go into gaming news, and try and sometimes put a mental health spin on it. The gaming news, really, there isn't much. Like, the thing for me this week there is, and I don't know if anyone knows this, but the Commonwealth Games is on here in the UK. So the Commonwealth Games are on, and there is actually esports are being played in the Commonwealth Games for the very first time. Most annoying thing for me is on the Commonwealth Games website, they don't even talk about it. You have to then Google it. You have to try and find it. You have to find out when it is, if it's being shown, if it's not being shown. And it's really frustrating because I thought when they first said that it was going to be in the Commonwealth Games, I thought, brilliant. It's actually a chance for people to see what esports is all about. And even if they put like a little clip of the beginning or the stadium or whatever to showcase that, this is happening. Look how many people are here and etc. But they've not done anything. And that kind of really annoys me. And that, I suppose, affects my mental health, I suppose. But yeah, so that's a bit frustrating. I have got a load of articles here about the Commonwealth Games and esports, but it's obviously not any official websites. But I will put them in and link them in the descriptions because some of them are a really good read, and it's worth noting that this is actually a very big deal, even though they're not televising it or promoting it too much. But for esports, it's fantastic. So, okay. Now onto our guest. So we have Flipper onto our podcast today, and it's amazing because I randomly raided her. It must have been, I don't know, 2-3 months, maybe longer. I can't even remember now. And I was flicking through at the end of my stream. I was flicking through people to see who to kind of like raid and host, and came across her. And I love the energy, love the vibe, and it was just really kind of. It just felt like I was taking my stream onto someone else's, and it was a kind of very similar vibe, and it was great. So that's how we kind of met, and we've all been in each other's streams a little bit here and there. And she did pop in and saw one of the mental health podcast shows, and I said I'm always looking for people, and she said she'd be interested. So here we are, which is amazing. So anyway, I'll stop talking, and without further ado, we will get her on, and yes, she can obviously introduce herself. So welcome, Flipper.
Hello.
How are we?
Doing good, thank you. How you doing?
Very well, thank you very much. And as I said just then, like, honestly, I really appreciate you wanting and coming on to do this. It's amazing.
Yeah, I think it's definitely important to talk about it.
Yeah, 100%. So I always start gaming first, I suppose. So how did you start gaming? Like, where did it all start for you? Are you kind of new to it or old school? What's your kind of gaming history, I suppose?
My gaming history has definitely been very varied. I remember when the first Sims came out, for example's sake, playing that with my mum.
Nice.
Need for Speed.
Oh
I think I played Popeye. There was a Pop Idol game at one point. I thought I was a proper little gamer. And it was actually on a PC. Then we got an Xbox 360. That played a few games on there. I very well remember Viva Pinata. And actually before that, there was a GameCube era that I shared with my brother.
Oh, wow.
That was my Pokemon era.
Yeah, nice.
Went to university, got myself my first gaming laptop. That's when I started having a bit of money when I was working. I thought I'm gonna get The Sims 4. I'm gonna
Yeah.
upgrade to The Sims 4, and then I left university, and that was the first time that I actually started to meet other people who gamed. So
Yeah.
gaming for me was always solo,
Hmm.
apart from my brothers. If you like did multiplayer on the Xbox, for
Yeah.
example's sake. So this was when I was working full time, and I met my partner Danj, and he introduced me into CS:GO.
Nice.
My first introduction into just first person shooters, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I was there like,
Amazing.
yes, this my little gaming laptop next to his big PC setup. I was like, no, I'm a gamer now. Um, Introduced to the world of VoIP,
Yep.
which was an interesting
Uh,
introduction to that one.
Very much so.
Absolutely hated that, and then started to learn that you gotta let things not get to you.
Yeah.
And then from CS:GO, definitely like went into like DayZ. Still keeping my little simulators on the side because that's what
Nice.
I enjoyed to do to chill.
Yes.
And then getting into things like PUBG
Yep.
and Tarkov, and then getting that confidence during COVID to start streaming,
Amazing.
and then doing even more multiplayer things and getting more into the community, and bit by bit just been like, it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, basically. Starting from little old baby flipper who
Yeah.
was playing Pop Idol, thinking they were really cool, to this point now. It's definitely been a big change.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like really, really good. And so you've only then been streaming what, a couple of years?
So it will be a year, just over a year and a half.
That's amazing. That's actually amazing. So everyone who doesn't know, obviously all Flippers links and that will be all in the chat and all in the descriptions when this kind of obviously goes out onto Spotify and YouTube and other places. And you're smashing it, which is amazing. You are though, like honestly, like it seems that you've got such a nice community around you, like in your streams, and like every time I see you, you kind of numbers always look great. I know we should never always look at numbers, but numbers look great, and as I say, like it just looks, and I love the fact that, and I do really believe this. When I came into your stream to obviously see you for the first time, it just seemed like so much fun, and I was like, yes, that's what we kind of want to be part of, like as me and watching, and which is awesome.
Yeah, and it's definitely I guess some things that we could discuss in a bit. The mental health side of always having that happy side on you is definitely a big thing, but it's a big thing that I want to definitely show, because that when you're happy, it's easier for other people to relax and just enjoy it, and maybe even like let their own troubles just subside for a little moment and just have a bit of fun.
Very much so. That is very true. Cool. So that is a very long gaming history, which is wicked. Which is really, because mine's actually really simple. Not similar, but I actually started and I can never remember. So I had like a ZX Spectrum, so I'm old. So I'm 40 this year. I've got a ZX Spectrum, like my dad had it and used to play that. Then Mega Drive and so on and so forth. And I remember my dad having a PC like for work, but it all ended up me just kind of playing like games on it and that. And then there was Counter-Strike. This was before it was CS:GO. This was like proper full on old school Counter-Strike. And I somehow, and I don't even know how I remember, but I remember downloading it and getting it. And obviously the servers were so bad because no one was ever on it until America. So I used to literally like stay up so late, like literally creep into like the computer room in the middle of the night so my parents wouldn't know, type of thing, and start playing like Counter-Strike till stupid o'clock in the morning. Like, and it was amazing. But you are right, the whole VoIP, I mean, I never had a mic back then, ever. But oh my god, it was toxic back then, like, let alone now. But yeah, and then that's kind of what got me into kind of FPS games and Call of Duty and so on and so forth, and then found Tarkov. Mental health side. So yeah, are you kind of struggling, or do you know someone that's struggling, or you just want to kind of, what was your reasoning why you wanted to come onto the podcast, I suppose?
I've definitely been struggling and still do have struggles for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I have been working with depression and anxiety for a few years now, and
Yeah.
it's definitely been getting better.
That's good.
But during COVID,
Yeah.
it was at its worst point ever.
Okay.
And then I guess while I was at my lowest point, I was almost saying to myself, "Oh, one day you can go stream or whatnot."
Yeah.
And then it was that moment of no, let's do it now.
Yeah.
Let's just do it. Let's just give it a go. And I found a whole new lease of life through streaming, through gaming, which has definitely made things a lot easier now. It's still something I go through, and it's not really something I talk much about.
Yeah.
I definitely talk more about other people's struggles in my stream.
Yeah.
But it's about having that confidence to show who you are,
Of course,
online,
open
without
up. Yeah.
the negativity that sometimes comes with streaming, gaming,
Yes,
being a woman in gaming,
100%.
and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, so it's definitely something that I'm still going through.
Yeah.
But gaming and streaming has had a massive positive impact on me for sure.
That's really good. That's nice to know, because I had and I actually talk about this quite a bit. We had a guest on quite a while ago at the beginning of the podcast when it kind of first started, and she wants to stream, but she can't because she's so anxious. And then that whole build up of, like, even as I mentioned to you just a minute ago, like literally pressing the record button. You know, this is not even live. You know, pressing the record button for me, my anxiety rises and palms get sweaty, and I want to, you know, play with the fidget toys and you know, all that type of stuff, you know. So it definitely kind of affects me. You know, and it is, I think it's one of them things where it's always going to be there. Like for me, I think my mental health and anxiety, I think is always, I don't think it will ever leave me, but it's how I deal with it on a daily basis, on a weekly and a yearly. If it starts to come back, if my panic attacks start to come back, I kind of now have ideas of how not to fix it, but to control it a little bit more. I think that's the most important thing for me, and I'm similar. Gaming, well, especially streaming for me was a massive help for me.
Yeah, definitely. And
it was for me, it was the chatting, like this, chatting to people. You know, the gaming was great because obviously it got people into the stream and they're watching the game, but then they start to know who you are, and then you start talking and opening up. And for me now, like it's just the chatting side I love of streaming. Absolutely love it.
Yeah, and that comes with building the right community around you. Because definitely starting up, and just generally, you get a lot of people through streaming that, you know, aren't there to provide a positive spin on things, and they can have a massive knock on your anxiety there and then. So I mean, you were mentioning panic attacks there. That's something that I was having a massive problem with prior to streaming. And when I was getting into the swing of streaming, like it didn't come straight away. Like there were moments where my heart rate would start to go up in certain scenarios, and it was the same with gaming as well, even not in streaming. I remember camping in a bush in DayZ, not because I was trying to camp a player to kill them, but because I heard someone and my heart rate went so crazy. I was like, I have to hide. I need to get my heart rate down. And I had to kind of like adjust to the idea of first-person shooters while suffering from panic attacks. Which was the most bizarre thing, because I was there like looking back, that's the kind of situation now where I'd be like, I would have been going for them right out of that bush. No, but there was a very weird specific memory I have there of my first encounter after getting into a bad routine with panic attacks. But it's that whole, so when I was going through a variety of different bits of therapy from the NHS, it's always that focus on you've got to face your fears. Not like you don't literally dive into the deep end. That's the worst thing you could do. It's not going to work. But you have to gradually reintroduce yourself to something, or like the first therapy they put me on, it was phobia therapy, and I was there like, what? What have I got a phobia of life? Like what are we dealing with here? So it very quickly turned out it was the wrong therapy, but it took a concept that made sense. They give an example of a person who has a phobia of dogs. And in order to overcome the phobia of dogs, you have to get used to the idea of being with dogs. So whether that be, first up, you look at pictures of dogs Like
Yeah, of
literally
course.
go to the
Yeah.
dog. And then you go on a walk and you look at dogs from a distance. And then the next time you go on a walk and you get closer bit by bit.
Yeah.
And then eventually you say to someone, can I pet your dog? But by the way, I'm scared of him.
Yeah.
And then like bit by bit by bit,
Yeah.
until you get to a point of you're no longer as scared. You may never ever be
Of course.
fully overcome it.
Yep.
But you just can't hide away from it, because the idea is if you hide away from it,
Yeah.
you're not ever gonna overcome it, and
Yep.
you're always gonna be scared of it.
Definitely.
And that was at least something I could take away from it, was that idea of, right, so what, while it wasn't a phobia, because when you're having a panic attack, you're not necessarily having a phobia or something, although it definitely could be from that. It could just be anxiety leaving the house, or anxiety talking to people. But like with streaming, for example's sake, it is that, or gaming, it's that case of, right, admit to yourself you're not going to be perfect straight away, but you just can't deny yourself the ability to just keep trying and give it a go, but try not to back off.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
100%. It's that whole thing of like, if you fall off a horse, get back on. Like, it's that type of vibe. Like, and it really is. I think you're bang on there with, because I did again, NHS. They couldn't put me in therapy straight away because, obviously, as we know, the NHS is struggling with with therapy and with therapists and getting the numbers, and it's getting even higher, obviously, because of COVID, and younger people especially now suffering a lot, because of COVID and not being able to socialise, and so it's a lot. We understand that. So before they could put me into a one-to-one therapy, they offered me group therapy, and I took it, and I think I went twice, and it's one of them things. I felt like a fraud because these other people had massive kind of, depression and anxiety, and their stories were huge, obviously, with regards to family life and self-harming and abuse and lots of things. And mine, even though I had a full-on breakdown, it was really nothing to do with any of that. It was work and money and just me not talking about it that built it up. So I felt like a fraud, and I know now I wasn't, because obviously I was dealing with stuff. So, but group was really hard for me. But then they were lucky, and then I got into, normal therapists and things like that. And I kind of say, like, for me, therapy worked and didn't work. It was that whole case, and I think I'm like you. I take bits away from it. And it made me start
find the right one for
exactly
you, because there's so many different types.
Exactly, and it made me start talking. That was the biggest thing. My therapy, it made me start talking about what I was feeling, what I was going through, and also as well what it taught me. It taught me a lot about breathing techniques and that type of thing, especially for panic attacks. Like breathing techniques and such things as poppers and fidget spinners and things like that, to kind of take your mind away from where it's going, or that type of thing. And I took a lot away from that, but then obviously it just kind of came to a very stale, and it was the same thing because they were trying to obviously dig to see if it was anything back in my past, and as they always do, and which is understandable. But yeah, so it did help and it didn't help. And then medication is what I'm kind of on now. So I'm still on meds. I've been on meds for quite a while now, good few years, and up and down the dose quite a bit. And obviously things that go on in everyone's lives is, don't ever be afraid to ask to up your dose or drop it down. Never ever just stop, please. Never ever just stop. It's not a good thing. So that's kind of, I totally agree with you with the therapist side and what you kind of get out of it. I definitely understand. With
it
the
also
snippets.
sounds like with yours, you do something that a lot of people do when it comes to mental health. And I don't know whether it's a generational thing or not, but when I was growing up, mental health problems weren't really a thing.
Mm-hmm.
They were kind of, if you had a mental health problem, you were a crazy person and probably in a hospital. Do you know what I mean? Like, mental health problems, I don't even know if mental health was even a term.
Thing. Yeah.
You just had crazy people, psychos, whatever. There was never really any discussion, and anybody that suffered from depression, it was kind of like, whoa, that's like, what even is that?
Yeah.
How can you physically feel that in your head?
Yeah.
And it's definitely, I guess, there's still like a bit of a stigma where
Oh,
it's like, oh my
massively.
gosh, do I genuinely feel is this all in my head? And funnily enough, it is all in your head
Yeah.
because that's the whole point of mental health.
Yep.
But it's like when you were in that room, or not, well, I don't know whether it was online or physically
Oh,
in a
in
room
the
or
room.
whatnot.
Yeah, it was in the room. It was,
okay,
yeah.
in a room. When you're in a room physically looking at people and they're there saying, oh, I have this, and you're there, oh my God, I don't have that.
Yeah.
They have this, or I don't have that. Well, it's like saying, okay, so you've broken your leg and I've broken my leg. You broke your leg in a car accident, and I broke my leg because I was really clumsy and
Yeah.
fell over a rock.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've still got the same
Yeah.
problem, but you've justified in your head that you don't deserve to be there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It's so bizarre. It happens. It's so weird, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things of throughout my progression with my anxiety in particular and also depression, it's trying to sometimes visualize the problem as a physical thing. So oh gosh, like what's an example? Like the broken leg thing, to be honest. Little things like that. It was also the visualization of what a panic attack is. The day I learned what an actual panic attack was a day I calmed down a lot.
Yeah.
So with my panic attacks, I was getting them a lot. Something happened one night when I was working during COVID, and I was really hating my job.
Yeah.
A lot of people in my role were just there. It wasn't going well. We weren't being treated right. By this point, effectively, on one day, I was effectively being a receptionist. I wasn't a receptionist in my job, but effectively, to put it into perspective, I was on a front desk talking to customers and people, and I was accused personally of being responsible for the deaths of hundreds of thousands of people due to COVID, because I was that time the face of the company that was providing a service that wasn't closing itself down because we couldn't, because the government said you can't close down. This was just before COVID shut down everything.
Yeah.
So I was personally being told that I was responsible.
Yeah, it's all your fault.
Yeah, all my fault. And obviously I knew it wasn't. Yeah. But it's those moments of like, I'm kind of freaking out. Actually, I'm not being treated very well. These people, I won't go into all of it,
No, of course, yeah.
Bit by bit, my mental health was just dipping and dipping and dipping. And there was one night where it was the end of the weekend, it wasn't even going back into the office. It was going to be working from home the next day. Yeah. And I just started to have a panic attack. I'd had a few before, but not really thought too much of them because they weren't frequent. Yeah. I just thought, oh, that was a weird thing. Let's move on. Yeah. Which is the worst thing to do, might I add. If you ever have a panic attack, you actually, what you do is you get it checked out there and then. Yeah. You don't wait. No. So that was mistake number one. I then had a massive panic attack. For clarification, because I think the worst thing you can do is go straight into the bad side of things before explaining that actually things aren't like this normally. Yeah. From what I've learned, a panic attack doesn't generally normally go beyond 30 minutes if you don't know how to deal with it. Once you know how to deal with it, it wouldn't normally last that long anyway. Yeah. So mine lasted for about 36 hours.
Oh my God.
So I spent about 36 hours not being able to sleep. Constant heart rate, going absolutely mad. Wow. And just not knowing what on earth was going on. Yeah. And I repeated problem number one. I didn't seek help.
Didn't seek help. Yeah.
It eventually ended, but from that moment on, I couldn't do anything without starting to have another panic attack or having another panic attack. And once again, the problem was I just didn't seek help. Yeah. And then it took me months of me thinking, no, I'll get myself out of this because mental health, like, it's all in your head. It's literally all in your head. I'll get it. I'll sort it out. Months of not going out, not seeing people because of COVID, all this kind of stuff. And I eventually called up my GP. And one of the first things they did was explain to me what it was. And you'd think that knowing what it was would actually be a bit more scary for somebody who hasn't yet looked for help. But it was the first day that, I used to get a really tight throat. So I used to think maybe I've got a physical problem. Right, my throat is really tight and I'm struggling to breathe. My throat just suddenly eased up when they literally just said, at the end of the day, you can't die from a panic attack. It's not actually a physical problem. You're not going to have a heart attack or anything.
Yeah.
It's just you having a little bit of a fight or flight situation.
Yep.
And you just your brain and your body aren't quite understanding each other, and you're just going, oh, okay, right, panic.
Yep. You're bang on, and you really are. And with that fight and flight, it is, and that like chemical imbalance, and it really is, and like it is, as you said, like I can't believe you went through that for that long. That's insane, because I remember my first one, I didn't know what it was. And then when obviously speaking to the doctor, they were like, yeah, this is what it was. And I was like, okay, that kind of makes sense. And it was horrible. And they are horrible.
Yeah.
But as you said, can't die from them. Yes, you do feel like your chest is like being pushed on or held down.
Of course your chest's going to feel like that. You're stressing out.
Exactly,
You're literally telling your body to stress out as a reaction, whereas actually you've done that to yourself. And when you start to realise this is literally all in your head, and while that can often sound really harsh, if you remind yourself, no, this is actually all in your head. Like, it doesn't have to be this way.
Exactly.
Remember the breathing, or if you're on meds. Like, I've never gone on full-time medication. My GP wanted to avoid it where possible.
Yeah.
I have a tablet that I can take which will slow down my heart rate.
Okay.
So it's not
like
not particularly dangerous.
Blockers, basically.
Kind of.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that, yeah.
Yeah.
But on a smaller scale.
Yeah.
And actually, I've got to a point where I don't really use them. They're kind of
That's
like a
good.
placebo thing for me. Like, my coping mechanisms have always been. It's kind of like, I guess, the flight thing. I've always told myself, have a coping mechanism ready for when you're going into an anxiety situation.
Yeah.
What is your escape? Because sometimes knowing you have an escape is what makes you realise you're safe and you don't need the escape.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like, very basic example. First ever podcast. I'm literally just here like, oh my God, I'm so nervous. What am I going to do? What if I start having a panic attack? Oh, wait, it's pre-recorded and Love Me isn't going to tell me off having a panic attack. So what we'll just do is we'll cut it out and no one will realise that anything went wrong.
Exactly.
And as a consequence, my heart rate's gone down because I'm like, oh, it'll be fine if something goes wrong.
Exactly.
It's fine. It's like so when I finally got onto CBT therapy through the NHS, my therapist was literally just like, she kept saying to me, okay, but what if you have a panic attack? What's bad about that? Well, I don't want to have a panic attack. I know you don't want to have a panic attack, but what's going to happen at the end of it? I'm going to be fine. Yeah, you're going to be fine.
Yep.
And it's that memory of, well, you don't want to go through it, but the outcome is you're gonna be fine.
Yeah, it really is. It really is.
Yeah.
You are 100% right, and it is that, and you are right. Like, literally, you have to find your path and all that type of stuff, and to go through it, and either meds or meditation or therapy or mindfulness or CBT or whichever way you kind of want to go through it. Like, there are so many ways you can deal with this, and this is why I love talking to so many different people, because, again, as you said, we're all very in the similar place. We've all broken our leg, but we've all done it in a totally different way, and we're all going in different paths to the same place, to away from it, to it, and so on and so forth. And it really is. And this is, again, one of the biggest things why I wanted to do this, so we could speak to people that have had so many different paths, but at the end, we all go through it or something similar or whatever it is, and we're still here and we're still okay. You know,
and it's important to normalise it as well.
Yes.
Like, if you broke your leg, would you stay at home and not go and get help?
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Like, actually, why treat your head the same as you would treat that broken leg? Just the worst thing I ever did, and the reason why things got so bad is because I didn't seek help. Yeah.
Someone said that on one of the other podcasts. Actually, it's really interesting, and I really liked the kind of thing. It's like, as a human race, obviously, we look after our bodies. We look after our bodies by trying to eat good. Obviously, I definitely don't. Try to exercise. I definitely don't. But, you know, we do. Like, literally, we're told this all the time, but we're never, ever, ever told to look after your brain. We're never told that. We're never taught that. You know, they are obviously now starting to, which is great. But going back to kind of what you said earlier, it really is. Our generation and our parents' generation and grandparents, and it was that literal man up, you know, rub dirt in it, get up, do this, you're fine, there's literally nothing wrong. It is man up.
If you're a man up. If you're a woman,
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Like we were just,
yeah.
it was just acceptable
It's like,
that we would cry in a corner.
yeah.
I
And it's like,
guess.
don't be stupid, you're fine, you know. It's all this, and
Yeah, exactly.
and it really is. And I always remember when I was going through it, and the hardest thing, and I was like, spoke to my mum and dad for the first time, and they were kind of in shock and they didn't really understand it, and they were amazing. Like everyone that I spoke to were absolutely amazing about it, and and that's again very hard, because I remember and I don't know if it was similar for yourself, but when going through it, I felt so alone.
Yeah.
Even though my missus was absolutely the best thing ever, like she got me through it so much without even me knowing. It was so hard, and I felt alone. But as soon as you kind of start talking to people, it just, again, it's that thing, as you say, your throat opens up slightly if you feel that pressure, or the weight comes off your shoulders. And then now it sounds really stupid, but it is. And then all of a sudden, I could get out of bed easier. I could actually then get in the shower easier. I could and it sounds stupid, but the smallest things of literally getting out of bed, making your bed, getting showered and getting changed, just felt like I couldn't do it. And I think
a lot of people do say you actually have to give yourself more credit sometimes for just getting out of bed in the morning, because actually when you're in that state, I mean, I was similar. I wasn't getting out of bed until incredibly late while I was on. So with mine, I was on sick leave for quite a while from my job. So you'd think, oh, this is a great time to look after myself and whatnot. And actually it just became, oh, well, I don't have to get out of bed. And I don't want to get out of bed. So I'm not going to get out of bed. And then if I don't get out of bed, I don't have to leave the house. I don't have to, I don't have to see people. I don't have to worry about whether I'm being judged.
Exactly.
And that was the weird link with streaming and gaming, is that idea of, if you don't put yourself out there, then you're not going to get judged in the first place.
Yeah.
So it's like with the VoIP.
Yeah.
When I first ever did it in CS:GO, it was that moment of, some people heard that I was a woman.
Yes.
And this is quite a baffling thing for some people. The concept of women
in gaming.
Games.
It doesn't make sense. It's so crazy.
Thing, because we're too busy crying in a corner while the lads are being told to man up, obviously. And it's that moment of, it didn't even matter what I looked like in that moment. The fact that I was a girl was just like,
yes.
As I say, they couldn't see me, but they were making all these accusations about my appearance because they thought that was the best way to get at me. So, I noticed that with guys, the best way to get at them to make them feel emotionally vulnerable was to have a go at their ability in the game. Yeah. Whereas a woman, it was have a go at my physical appearance, which they couldn't see.
Which you couldn't even see. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And it was the most bizarre thing. So I took a step back from it. I was like, nope, I am never speaking online ever again. But because I went away from the first time feeling so low, because this one guy on the internet wasn't happy that I got more kills than him.
Yep.
Yeah. And it was never a case of GG, look at you done a good job.
Exactly.
It was, it's a woman who's beaten me. Like, right.
It's just it
what
throws
can I
me.
say to upset her?
It throws me so much. Like I genuinely don't get it. Because we've had obviously women on, women and people that are on the show before, and they've talked about it as well, of how they've been harassed and how they've even going down to stalking and things like that. And it's just absolutely, I can't fathom in my head why someone is going to be angry with someone. One, because they got more kills, and then even more so because you're a female, and it's just absolutely bonkers. It's it does. It really throws me, and this is why I love things like Twitch, and and even I think esports is still a little bit behind, because women's teams and women in esports is
massively,
exactly, it's not there, and that annoys me, because I see so many women on Twitch absolutely demolishing people, and I'm like, you should be in an esports team, or you should, so that obviously needs to change 100%. But I don't know, it does frustrate me, and it frustrates me, and I'm male, and it annoys me. So obviously for
that's good.
Yeah.
That is good. As a woman, I'm kind of there Thank you for being annoyed, because actually I think you should be annoyed.
Yes, more
And
than that. Yep.
I'd like it if everybody was
I
annoyed.
know.
Actually, do
Yep.
you know what I mean?
Yep.
Because it's like you're right. It's awesome to see Twitch, to actually see other female
Yeah.
gamers. Because oh my gosh, how many times have I actually met another girl in game, let alone one that's actually willing to speak with their microphone?
Yeah.
It normalizes it.
Yeah,
But
100%.
Twitch has also made it so difficult
Yeah,
to
of
be
course.
a female gamer as well.
Yep.
And it's one of those weird things, like, I'm only talking about females here because this is my experience. But,
Yeah.
like, it's, at the end of the day, there's discrimination with so many minorities that you could go on
Of course. Oh
forever
my God, yeah.
talking about all the minorities.
Yeah.
And it's the weirdest thing being a woman in this case, because I'm there saying minorities, but I can't use the word minority for myself because I make up half of the population.
Yeah, I know, that's just
of the entire
it's so
world.
crazy.
So the word minority doesn't work in this case. But yet it's minority because I guess there's supposedly less of us gamer girls out there.
Yep. But I very much doubt there is, though. This is the thing. I truly.
There are more than you realise.
Exactly.
That's the whole point, isn't it?
Exactly.
Because it's like with Tarkov, I have never, ever, ever come across a single other female gamer that I've been able to recognise verbally. So that to be fair, that's not me trying to be completely oblivious to people's voices.
Mm-hmm.
When in communication with people, I've never come across another female gamer or one that's been willing to say out loud that they're a female gamer or to make that link. And this is my 4th wipe, I think.
Yeah.
So over the last couple of years, I've only met a couple in DayZ, for example's sake.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I successfully spoke to another female gamer was in CSGO.
Oh, really?
I was having a day where I was like, right, do you know what? Let's have a fresh start.
Let's try.
Fresh start this whole VoIP thing. Let's try again. And I was with my partner Danj, and we were playing around, and I thought, right, I'm going to call out some things.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to be helpful for the team and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I just saw in the chat bar, I was like, Flipper, are you a girl? And I was like,
oh no, here we go.
And I was like, I said out loud, yep, I'm a girl, thinking, oh, wait, what's going to happen here? And then suddenly this voice speaks out. She's like, I'm a girl too. And I'm like, oh my God, holy grail, I found another female. Which shouldn't be that exciting, but oh my God, it was so exciting. I'm like, yes, I found another one. We exist. And then a few years later, we're at their house in Ireland from that one
way.
game. Yeah. As
That's
a couple,
amazing.
they were playing a game. As a couple, we were playing a game. There was this awkward other person who was, awkwardly crashing our double date apparently on CS:GO. But we all added each other after that, and we literally stayed at their house. We got plane over to them and everything.
That is brilliant.
That is my first really awesome,
I love that.
I don't know, that little friendship bonding there. And bit by bit, it grows. And it's only thanks to Twitch that I've actually met more girls, because I do not meet. Like, at the end of the day, it shouldn't matter if you meet more girls.
Nope, shouldn't.
For me, as a girl or as a woman, sometimes it's woman, sometimes it's girl. It depends on how the guys are feeling in the game. I mean, the other day I did get accused of sounding like a child. That was a low point for me, actually.
Oh God. What?
I remember I was running around in Tarkov because I've been getting way more confident with VoIP. It's like,
I love
is where
VoIP. Oh, it's brilliant.
my mental health has massively increased.
Yeah.
So to the point where I get a load of rubbish on Twitch or in game, and honestly, I don't care. I might go with a bit of a rant about it at the end to somebody and say, why does this person do this? But at the end of the day, it doesn't get to me anymore, and that's really important when it comes to streaming, is to not let it get to you.
Yeah.
But I remember being in this game, walking around VoIPing, being really silly, questioning whether I had a scav army because I was a girl, but I'll never know whether that was the case. It probably was the case.
Amazing.
And I told somebody, oh, you've got a great hat. They just had a little cowboy helm. Great hat. Love your hat. As I'm getting to my extract.
Yeah.
And the guy turns around and just says, what the fuck are you doing on this game, bro? I was like, what? He's like, what the fuck are you doing on this game? And I'm there like, I go into panic mode. Because I'm there, oh, I'm about to be called. Why the heck is a woman on this game?
Yeah.
And then I was there like, what do you mean? And he was like, wait, are you a kid or a child or a woman? And I'm there, wait a second, he thinks I'm a child. I don't think I sound like a child.
No, you're
So
literally putting your guard up, your female guard up, and
yeah,
gonna
literally,
start
I was
like,
about to
yeah,
go, right, okay, right.
here we
What are you
go.
going to say to me?
Yeah.
How dare you? But no, and I'm there, 3 seconds left of my extract. He has no idea I'm extracting. I'm there like, oh, no, I'm a woman, bye. And then I extract at that perfect moment. No idea what else he had to say.
Oh, that's brilliant. I love
So
it.
that was the first time I was like, right, I wasn't accused of being a woman, I was accused of being a child. Like, someone was genuinely concerned, like, oh, there's
You
this
should
underage
not be
child
playing
playing
this.
Tarkov.
It's
What are you doing on
pretty
here?
violent, yeah.
But like you have a lot of weird interactions
Mhm.
as a woman in gaming, and it's definitely been a weird,
Yeah.
bumpy mountain to get to the point that I'm at, because you kind of have to, for some reason, a lot of male gamers decide that you need like a rite of passage to get to a point where you're comfortable VoIPing in game and streaming.
Yeah.
And I can confirm. So my rite of passage goes along the lines of, can't see you, but you're obviously horrifically disfigured and really ugly, and all these kinds of things.
Of course. Of course.
And then it goes to like a few bits of like, oh, you're rubbish, you have a bad day, you're rubbish, you're a girl.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Everyone has their one-off games. You then get to the point of, oh, you're a girl. Do you want to be my in-game girlfriend? No. Of course I don't want to be your in-game girlfriend.
Oh my god.
And I don't want to admit how many times I've been asked that question.
Oh my god.
It then follows up with the, oh great, they've seen me through the Discord server for that game. Why am I now getting private messages?
Yeah.
It then goes to, oh, literally, you're a girl. Do you want all this stuff that I've just picked up? What? No. Oh, just chucking things on the floor. Take this loot, take this loot. No, I don't want it. Take this gun. No, I don't want it. Leave me alone. No, really, I want you to have it. I really don't want it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm good, thanks.
Especially not on stream. It's going to be like girl gamer streamer loot,
Yeah,
isn't
exactly.
it? Chat's going to be there like, what are you doing? Why are you taking all this stuff?
You just stand in the middle of the map and everyone will just come over and just start dropping stuff to you.
Yeah. Oh no, it's horrific. The moment you speak, often what happens is people literally start dropping stuff on the floor. You'd think that's a really lovely thing, but actually it's really humiliating.
Oh, 100%. They're saying that you can't get it yourself.
Well, it's not even that. Like, it doesn't matter when you spawn in. It's kind of like I must protect this girl. I must look good in front of this girl.
Yeah.
You don't even know who I am. All I've done is said hi,
I love it.
I've accepted loot once, and it's because last swiper really liked the ump, and they dropped an ump, and I said, I'm only taking this ump, and I'm only taking it because I really like it, and not because you've dropped it for a girl. Because I'm quite honest with people. It's like, don't please. Literally, you're there like, please don't drop stuff on the floor because I'm a girl.
That's amazing.
So what's the next part? What's the next part of this passage? It's oh god, it's when it's like so the specific example, Daisy. I call it DayZ because British.
Yep.
Daisy. You're in the safe zone, and someone comes up to you and makes a comment about your name, which is above your head, and you speak out, and they're like, oh god, it's a girl, and they just look around, and suddenly there's like 15 players just circled around you, and you're like,
yeah, this is weird.
What's going on? I can't get out, and they're literally all just like, just so focused on the fact there's a girl in the game, and all they're like, this is not how it should be. I just want to play the game.
Exactly. This is it, though, isn't it? It's just mad. Like, it really is. And like, I've got a friend of ours, and basically, she was on the podcast actually, and she plays Rainbow Six Siege with us.
Mm-hmm.
She is phenomenal. Like, she is so good, and we always take the mick because I'm like, you can just carry us, and it's so, honestly, she's so good. But again, she'll chat to us in Discord, but if she VoIPs or anything like that, it's like really short. Yeah. And I'm like, you can kind of tell the difference, and I find that really sad, and I also find it really hard, like, and sad that a lot of female women gamers, etc., especially, like, as you say, minorities and things like that, they block a lot of their socials for having any messages, DMs, anything like that, which I find so sad. But I obviously understand why they do it, for protection and things like that. But then for me, I'm trying to obviously get people on the podcast, and obviously I want everyone's point of view, every single person. I want, everyone's point of view. It doesn't matter who you are, what you look like, where you're from. I don't care. I want everyone's point of view. And trying to get people like that on has been so hard because I actually can't
Yeah.
contact them. Or I'm emailing them and they're not going to reply because they go, I don't know who you are, I'm not going to bother. And I find that really sad because, again, you should just be who you are and open and be able to. But then I understand why you do it.
Weighing up. It's for them. It's weighing up. Is it worth all the
exactly,
hate
100%.
that come through to compensate
Just for one,
one nice thing, that opportunity that
Mhm.
comes through? And
I totally agree. Yeah,
it's really a difficult thing, and that's where streaming has really helped me out. It's one of those things that if everybody could stream, maybe this could solve all of our problems. Because if the people that were giving the hate, for example, were streaming and they were receiving it back, maybe they might realize, oh, this doesn't feel good. It's kind of, there's no point to it. But it's also in the similar sense of, before I started streaming, a lot of the VoIP really got to me mentally.
Yeah.
And I'm there like, oh my God, this person thinks I'm really, really fat.
Yeah.
But they've never seen me.
Yeah.
And that's all aside of whatever I think about my physical appearance or whatever.
Yeah.
Literally doesn't matter because they've never seen me.
Yeah.
Why on earth is that upsetting me? And then it moves to when you're streaming, especially if you have a webcam.
Yep.
You get a lot more abuse that way, whether it be through a direct message, whether it be directly in chat. It's made me really, really resilient, which is something that I've then mixing together with the mental health, like fixing your brain. Like it's I don't know how to put it. But like with my personal development, and it just, I've definitely become so much more confident in being a female gamer and a female streamer.
Yeah.
But it definitely highlights to me how I used to feel and how most women feel when it comes to gaming. So I am that person there that's suddenly now way more confident to do VoIP. Don't get me wrong. I'll have days where I'm there like, I'm actually not in the mood for this to possibly go wrong. And therefore, I'm not going to speak at all. I'm not going to give it a chance to go wrong.
Yeah.
Because actually, it's kind of not worth it.
Yeah.
But when I do speak up, I'd love to get to know more female gamers, and just like, it's not that I need to have more women in my life to be accomplished or whatever. It's just, it's sometimes your role models are people that represent you.
Well, this is exactly what I was going to say.
In the nicest way possible. Like people like you and your beard, I just don't feel like you represent me, On a level, you do. You're a lovely person who's really like committed to helping the community and whatnot. But I look at you and I'm there like, that's not me in a game.
No.
If that makes sense. Like, I'm obviously working on mine, but it's not really doing anything. But
it is though, like, and you saying it, like, it really is, like, and it is that thing of, obviously loads of people watch Twitch, like hundreds of thousands of whatever it is. I don't even know the numbers, but it's a stupid amount of numbers that watch Twitch and watch obviously all different kind of people, and I feel that yourself, you are already this role model for females, for women out there, for girls out there, whatever, and then if they see that, I just hope, and it's the same with the mental health side. We're talking about it, so if someone sees it, then they can talk about it. And so if someone sees you streaming and they're like, well, I can do that, and then she'll go and do that, and then someone else will see that and go, and then she'll go and do that, and then all of a sudden we've got this momentum and wave, and and that's what I want for mental health, but also as well for minority streamers and gamers, like hugely. I want that, because again, we need that, and they need it, as in, like, if you're struggling, the best thing to do is in my opinion, is to talk about it. And then if you've got a platform to talk about it, and then other people see it and then go, oh my God, they're doing that, or they're talking about that, or they're playing that, I can do that. And then that grows. And that's, I truly...
And once you normalise it, you're no longer a freak.
Exactly.
Because you're like the person that you look up to who has also had these issues, and suddenly it's like, well, I don't think they're a freak, so why do I think I'm a freak?
Yes,
and
exactly
once
that.
people can start talking about it, it's really good. And actually, thinking back to the whole the news, I know it's not gaming news, but it turns into gaming news. With the Euros and the women's football team, which, by the way, pretty cool.
Amazing, more than amazing.
They won,
yes,
which
exactly.
is freaking amazing. Obviously, wasn't given as much hype as another gender team, but that's a
Yep.
whole, whatever.
Yes.
But during the whole time, my Twitch adverts were male footballers calling out men who online call out women for harassment and whatnot, and saying, right, guys, we need to stop this. Here's how you do it. And it literally was an advert on how to click on the ... and report or ban or block or things like that. So I don't know whether you saw that.
I didn't
for your
see that.
advert.
No, I didn't see.
But it was really cool because it was like, yeah, it's obviously about the women's Euros. It's football. What is in the football news at the moment. But it was the first time where I started to see something outside a game. Well, I say first time actually.
Yeah.
First time for like a women's thing, because I've definitely seen it happen for like racism. For example,
I've seen. Before. Yep, I've seen that. Yep.
But I was actually seeing, role model males in football, like actual footballers whose name I can't remember because I have no idea.
I'm not a football fan, but I get you.
Faces, and I'm pretty sure they're famous.
But yeah, but talking about it,
like, bloody, it's like, yes, brilliant. I mean, it's such a weirdly simple advert. Here is the report button. If you see it, report it.
Yeah.
If you just don't do it, and I'm there like, wait, it's talking common sense. Oh no, we need a common sense advert.
Yeah.
But at least you're seeing something in the wider world, which is football.
Yep, 100%.
A lot of people like football.
Yeah, they certainly do. Yep.
But it's like,
they're doing something.
Yeah, exactly. It's good
people
to
are
see
starting to do.
happening.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And you see lots more adverts about mental health nowadays and whatnot. It's just normalizing it, but it's not just normalizing mental health, because yes, everyone can have a mental health issue. It's also stopping the people that can cause mental health issues or prolong them, elongate them, make them worse.
Yep.
I
mean, we always said a friend of mine always said that, he doesn't believe that there's more than, I don't know, 4% of arseholes in the world. So you got to think there's 96% of people in the world are going to be good. These 4% are just arseholes. That's who they are. That's what they'll always be, and they'll always be toxic, and they'll always be, whatever. And it is, and I try and bring this up quite a lot because I think that if I'm having a not so great day and someone messages me on Discord or WhatsApp or whatever, and because I'm not having a very good day, I read that and I read it how I want to, which is going to be negative because I'm not having a good day. Even though it's meant to be positive, I'll take that, and then that will hurt me, and then I'll either reply with something a bit nasty, or not nasty, but as in with regards to like, what you're saying or why you're saying that, or, because I've taken, and they're like, what are you chatting about? But then, and this is why I think, again, Discord and video calls and Zoom and Microsoft Teams and whatever people use to physically talk to someone, I can see your facial expressions. I can hear your voice. I can see, if you're happy, sad, or as much as you can, and I think that's an amazing thing that you can do that now because, as I say, I think you read things so wrong a lot of the time.
Yeah, it's like people don't realise when they're in chat and they say something and you're there like, what does that mean? And they're, I was obviously joking. It's like, I literally cannot see sarcasm in your words.
Exactly.
Like, if I saw your face, it'd be different. But
definitely.
But the emotion isn't shown through words.
Yep.
And it's. Yeah. you have the most awkward conversations.
Oh my god,
chat,
yeah, definitely.
Because you've misunderstood it, and then you feel like an idiot, even though you're not an idiot, but you feel like an idiot.
Because you misunderstood it, yeah, exactly.
And then like, I was only joking. It's like, but a joke's meant to be funny. I don't get it.
100%. So obviously, we've gone through loads, which has been amazing, which has been awesome. Just one last thing, I suppose. So have you got anything else outside of gaming that you say you did CBT? I don't know if you still do it. What other kind of coping mechanisms do you have or do you use for your daily? Because you're a full-time streamer now, aren't you?
Yeah.
And then you're a designer?
No, so basically following my sick leave with my last job following my super duper lovely panic attack that didn't
Yeah.
have to happen because I just wasn't educated on the matter, didn't seek
Yeah.
help. Sorry, that's quite a lot to say in one go. I had the moment of this is not something I really admit to because it's one of those things I'm worried to be judged about here.
Okay.
I had the moment of I'm really struggling with my job, and to put it quite bluntly, I hate my job. My job has got me to a point, like with a variety of other situations in the background, because it's never necessarily just one thing that can make you crash when it comes to like depression and anxiety. Like a lot of things accumulated. It's like when I had my first proper, I say proper, like actual webcam based CBT conversation with a therapist. The first question she asked me, so right, we're ready, right. Who hurt you as a child? And you're there like, excuse me?
Yeah, excuse me, what? Yeah.
But they mean it in the sense of, well, this hasn't started now. You haven't just suddenly said, I hate my job, and then your brain just melted out of your ears.
Yes.
It's a case of a lot of things
that
accumulate
grow and
over time. Yeah. So it dawned on me, I hate my job. My job has pushed me over the edge. This is why I've had that big panic attack.
Yeah.
And why I'm on so with my job, it was 3 months of full paid sick leave, as long as you got a doctor's note. And my doctor said, here you go, no questions asked, like literally take it, work on it.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, to get my therapy, it took longer than my sick leave. So I was expected to go back to work, to the place where I was being called. So I was working for university, basically.
Okay.
Where students were, because I was at the front of it all, they were telling me that one of them. It was only one. It's that 4%, isn't it?
Yeah.
The 4% that scream really loud. You've got the 96% who are lovely, but the 4% are screaming to be heard.
Yeah.
So obviously I've been accused of murdering people, basically, which is obviously not the case, but you know. So I was there like, I can't get my therapy until I've gone back to work.
Yeah.
And they're talking about physically going back into work.
Yeah.
I can't leave the house.
Yes.
Let alone drive myself to work. Because I will have a panic attack the moment I'm alone outside the house.
Yeah.
And that was the honest truth. That was because I hadn't had the help yet.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to look after myself. I was very reliant on my partner to keep me sane.
Yeah.
And by this point, my dog as well. Because actually one of the best things I ever did was get a dog. Because you actually really have to get up in the morning.
Yes.
If I guess the other alternative is a baby, but maybe that's like next level. Maybe start small. Maybe start with a fish or something.
Yes,
do you know what I mean? Like
exactly.
build
Grow up to that. Yeah.
But I was there like, how do I tell myself to get up in the morning, to get outside? My dog is a Jack Russell. Of course, she needs walking. She's going to be bouncing off the walls if I don't. Okay, this is a very long story.
No.
Basically, I was there like, I quit. I leave. I'm gone. I haven't got a backup plan. I have nothing. Yeah. I have my savings because I've always been very like hyper focused on making sure I've got like a backup plan and whatnot.
Yep.
I had my savings. I've got a roof over my head.
Yep.
I've got my partner who works really well with me and it's always an us thing. It was never about us being individuals. We're together. We're through this together. So I quit my job with absolutely no alternative plan. And I thought, well, I started streaming a few months ago. Let's just go through my therapy and I'll just up my schedule bit by bit.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of like kept rolling into so it's probably it's one of those things I'm always worried to call it full time because don't get me wrong, many people say, oh well, you know, if you count up all the hours it's not actually full time like me, because I get up at 4 a.m. every day and I go do my fantastic job and I'm very important and I'm always tired and stressed and you have absolutely no right to be tired and stressed because I'm tired and stressed.
Yeah.
You know, those people that are there to make you feel really good about yourself.
Love them people, yep.
But like there's other I'm doing YouTube videos in the background and all these other things. Yep. So in my head I'm there actually I'm definitely working the hours.
Oh my God, yeah, it does.
It's just not on stream, but a fair amount on stream.
Yeah.
And I've kind of gone from there. So I've just decided, like, let's see how far it goes. My partner is on board with it and comfortable with it.
Amazing.
And I've got he's giving me the thumbs up across the room because we share him. And we've got the savings and we just planned it out and it's like it's my little backup plan.
Yeah.
So it's like earlier I said, if you've always got an exit, you don't often then need the exit because you've got that safety blanket. And that safety blanket can be anything super duper simple.
Yeah.
And it's just that case of giving yourself that it's okay to not be okay. If this goes wrong, which it probably won't,
Mm-hmm.
You've got this, and this was my little case of I've got some savings. I've got a loving little family house
Yeah.
here. I'm growing a community. This is actually what I need right now. It's putting myself first. I'm in a very fortunate position because I know that not a lot of people could suddenly just
Yeah, of
drop their
course.
work
Yeah.
and stream. That's very, very unrealistic.
Yep.
But I've been saving for years. I like to think I've been quite mature.
Yeah.
And put all your money in the right places and whatnot.
Definitely.
So I've literally quit my job with absolutely nothing and just started streaming. And don't get me wrong, I do not make a minimum wage
Yeah,
off of
of course.
streaming. This is where the savings obviously come
Yes.
in. But this has definitely been the right decision for me. And actually,
Amazing.
ultimately, the aim is it's not even to try and be a big famous streamer. It's also about building a big community to look after one another, and it's more than just when your grandma says, what is it you do?
Yeah.
Well, I play games on the internet while people watch me and I talk at the same time. It's so hard to explain to some generations.
God,
I mean that in the loveliest way possible.
Yep, I agree.
But it just means that it doesn't matter when I'm trying to explain it to somebody and they're like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
I just don't get it. It's just they're like, but no, this is right for me. This is me taking my hobby and developing my mental health. And realizing that life is way too short to not seek help, not talk about things, to stick in a job that doesn't fulfill me in any way, shape, or form. Obviously, that's easier said than done. Sometimes people are very reliant on the jobs, and I've got to be very mindful of that when I say that.
Definitely.
But, I literally, this is all I do.
Do you know what though? It's amazing because I'm really similar to you. Like I got to a stage in my life where I will not work doing something I don't like.
Yeah.
And again, I am in the same place as you. I've got to be very mindful, and I totally understand. I've been at that stage where I have had to have a full-time job, come home, get in my car, go work at Domino's, come back. I've done it all. But I am now at that stage. I will not work for something, and that sounds really arsehole. But
it isn't
exactly. And this is the thing.
Once again, people breaking their legs. It doesn't matter how you get to that point. You got to just admit to yourself, this is who you are. This is how you feel. And if you can't get up in the morning because of your job, then something's wrong with the job, not you.
Yeah. Exactly that, and you are 100% right. And again, I am very lucky. My partner, she has a fantastic job, and I'm now a stay-at-home dad, so that is my job, which is
you went the next level above me.
Exactly. We got a dog first, though. We did have a dog first, and then
okay.
So we did do the levels, but it's and again, that is so fulfilling for me. And I say this every single kind of podcast. Without him, I would be in a very different place because he gets me out. Again, it's that thing. I have to get out to walk the dog. I have to get out to, take him to classes, take him to swimming. He's now going to nursery, so like just 2 mornings a week. So I have to kind of obviously make sure that he's up and ready, and it's just everything. And that is my job at the moment, and it's been amazing.
It's a very valid job.
Oh my god, it's
being a parent. Like in my eyes, that's way more valid than me being a streamer. That's a little person. Like I've worked with these little people before, and they're bonkers. To have one full time, that's a job. Do you know what I mean?
It's very stressful.
There's no question about it. Literally, they're literally all the way down there, and they're relying on you. Do you know what I mean?
All right, stop scaring me.
Sorry, no wait, I'm scaring myself.
Oh my God.
That's what's going on.
You are very true. That is it's crazy. It is, and it's been amazing. And but I will not work for what I don't want to do. And I won't go into any of this like properly, but I've got a couple of little businesses of my own now as well. And because I didn't want to work for other people, I wanted to work for myself, and I knew what I wanted to do. But again, I was very lucky, similar to you. I had some savings. The missus has got a very good job, so we were all. And again, it was an us, not a me decision.
Well, that's very much a big thing. It's about you and your partner, and your child. In that case, what works for all of you.
Exactly, exactly that. So, but this has been wicked.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's been so good.
It's one of those things. I was really nervous at the start because I was there like, I've never done a podcast before, and it's about mental health. Oh my god, what? Everything's gonna go wrong. And now I'm just here like, you literally can't get me to shut up.
But this is it though, and honestly, it makes me laugh because sometimes people go on and I'm like, it goes for normally like 45 minutes or an hour or just over an hour or whatever it is, and people are like, we're not going to be able to talk for that long, and I think we're nearly literally an hour and 5 minutes.
Oh, I could keep
It's
talking.
mad though, isn't it? It's literally crazy. So, any last things you wanna say? Any last
this is my moment of motivation, isn't it? Right.
Motivation.
My morals of the day or whatnot.
Exactly.
It's just literally like when I look back at myself and I think, what could I have done better? If someone comes up to me and they said, right, I am point 1 of your journey and you're at point whatever of your journey.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to person at point 1? Oh my god, just admit that it's okay to not be okay. Seek help, talk to people.
Yeah.
And maybe if you're feeling responsible, get a living being of some descriptor to look after, because suddenly, because it's one of those things, isn't it? Obviously, it's about you. It's about your mental health and your development. But the moment you are actually in charge of something else, you suddenly realise that you can take a step back from that.
Yes.
And you can realise how good life is through looking after something. So, okay, mine's a dog. I realise a lot of people are like, it's just a dog. What are you about? That is my child. That is my baby.
Exactly, yeah. 100%.
She's got me out of the house. She's got me socialising with other people and other dogs. I mean, oh, what a shame.
Yeah.
But like, and then it's like, you know, with my community as well. Twitch and gaming is a really fantastic way to branch out, especially with all of us being stuck at home, being with COVID.
Yeah.
Being able to express yourself and talk to people and be a nice human being, because that's the really main big thing about it, means that you can meet people all across the world. You're no longer me in my little village in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Who do I talk to? Oh my gosh. But the moment I'm gaming and I'm streaming, I'm talking to like-minded people who in turn are coming to me just to chat. Like people have come into my chat saying, I've never had a panic attack before. I think I'm having a panic attack. And it's the most bizarre experience because you're there like, oh my god, I'm not medically trained. But you're there like, actually, no, I'm
experience from
being.
Yeah,
I have experience.
Yep.
And it's normalizing things, but literally the main thing is just knowing you need to go get help. If you need, like, sometimes you need someone to tell you it.
Yeah.
This is me. Hi, hello. you just need to go get that help. Call up the GP. It's not going to be instant. If you're in the UK, can absolutely guarantee it's not going to be instant. It's going to be a gradual thing. You're going to do it and you're going to feel calm. And then you're going to realise you don't need to worry about it just yet.
Yes.
And then when you're going to get the help, you're going to work out the best help for you. You don't give up. You don't just say, that wasn't for me, give up completely. So you go on to the next thing and you find what works for you. Look online for help. Just research what it is you're feeling and realise how normal it is.
Yeah.
Realise how many people are experiencing it. And realise that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. And while it's looking pretty dark now, it's not always going to be dark. And you might not believe me right now, but honestly, it's true. There's self-help books, there's YouTube videos, there's streamers who are just willing to chat with you.
Yeah.
And gamers and all that kind of stuff. And they're all on the internet, because that's the beauty of gaming, is that you're not restricted to your little local area. You have access to the whole internet. And that's where I've got my confidence through mental health issues. And I think that is where a lot more people will find their help too, whether it be professional, not professional. But obviously if they're not professional, don't treat them like a professional.
Yes, exactly.
All the little small print terms and conditions that you have to mention and whatnot. But so basically just seek help, because it's so important. Yeah,
it really is. And this is why, again, this is UK based, so I do apologise, but at the bottom of the screen scrolling we have the Samaritans, Mind and Calm, the 3 kind of main numbers that I would always tell people to kind of speak to, and I've spoke to every single one of them about my mental health and also other people's mental health as well. So even if you're worrying about someone else, it's always nice to ring these people and just get advice. And I say every single week, even if you pick up that phone and you ring the first 2 digits and put the phone down, and then the next day you do 4 digits and whatnot, it doesn't matter. These little steps, what we think are little, are massive you know, for some people. So you are doing amazing. Like, literally, you truly are doing absolutely amazing. And, you know, the good thing about it is, you know, I'm not, again, I wanted to do the podcast because I've gone through it. You know, I'm not someone who's talking about it, and I've never had it happen to me before. I've gone through a lot. I've known people that have gone through a lot, you know, and again, this is why we have the people on, you know, to chat with, because it's all different stories and, you know, all different ways of dealing with it and etc. So, yeah, Flipper, thank you so much.
That's okay.
It's been really, really cool. I will sign off. I will come back afterwards and chat to you. But yeah, for the time being, thank you so much. It's been wicked.
No, it's been really good fun. Thank you for having me.
Cool. No worries. We will see you in a bit. Guys, that was awesome. Like, so much fun. And this again is why I love doing things like this and speaking to people. You know, it's, you know, me and Flipper, we literally don't know each other. This is pretty much the first time we spoke to each other. You know, we come into each other's streams and watch each other, like, play games and things like that, which is amazing. But again, we've never really, you know, never spoke to each other like this, and I love it because, you know, we're getting all these different perspectives from different people. And I do really like the terminology that Flipper said about breaking your leg, and, you know, how you did it and how we're getting there, and it's so true. So but yes, and I appreciate you all for listening. If you're listening to this on Spotify or watching it on YouTube or wherever this kind of goes out, I really appreciate it, and thank you so much. Flipper, again, thank you so much for coming on. All of her socials and links and that will be in the descriptions and the comments. But yeah, apart from that, obviously, hope you have a great rest of your week. Look after yourself, and also massively look after your own mental health.